West Ham and Tottenham head into Sunday's London derby with just 1 point separating the clubs in the Premier League standing. Despite indifferent starts, the teams sit in 7th and 5th place respectively, one victory away from a potentially moving into the top 4. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, joined by Matt. Matt, Spurs Sunday, how you feeling, mate?
You know what? I'm nervous because I always am Tottenham games. I don't know. It's just something about the game. Both teams always get up for it. It's always a great game for a neutral to watch.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Ends up being rarely do we see it be spoiled. Rarely are the spoils shared. It's normally one team takes the win. So it's always a nervy but exciting 90 minutes. Nerves already kicking in.
Yep, absolutely. I think they are, mate. I think they are. And both teams obviously are playing European football, so I think that's going to have potential. Well, I don't think that's going to play a big part because obviously, and we'll bring the guest on in a second when we talk about Tottenham, who have rested most of their starting squad in preparation. Well, not whether it's in preparation for this game or not, but they've rested most of their squad. West Ham have got, even though we've got players there, we're still pretty thin in a certain extent, and we're maximising, we're rotating the squad, and we're using pretty much everyone. So yeah, it brings for an exciting London derby tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you do join us, though. We're doing a match day live again tomorrow. We'll be linking up live with the stadium, so make sure you do tune in. But as we always do, Matt, instead of it's us talking about the opposition, let's bring on our guests. So let's talk Tottenham. So, Toby, thank you very much for joining us again, my man. Hope you're well. You keeping safe?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. Me.
Absolute pleasure to have you back on, mate. Since you last came on, we've changed the channel name, we've rebranded, we've gone all out and changed it all up. So, hope you're keeping safe. But let's just get straight into it, Toby, mate. How's the season going? How's the new manager? Give us your kind of vibe of what's been happening.
Good one. The season's not been good. It's just for me. Before a ball was kicked, I said that this is going to be a nothing season for Spurs. We'll finish. I don't know. Maybe if we do really well, we could finish 5th. If we do as what the squad's currently performing at, we'll probably finish 6th or 7th. It's just another season away from Champions League football, not really winning anything, not really playing any sort of positive brand of football, and not really having that many good players. I didn't think we did enough in the summer. I think we did some good things, but I didn't think we did enough in the summer for it to massively change that opinion that we would have like a sort of up and down season. I don't think we have the squad capable of doing that. So in terms of how it's going, sorry to be negative, but
that's cool,
I
mate.
think it's just realistic. Spurs are just a whatever team now. Like not to say that we were big dogs before, but we're just going through the motions now, and it's being repackaged as a rebuild. But we're just going through the motions. Yeah.
I was going to say though, considering where you were at under Pochettino, obviously then Mourinho, now Nuno Santo. You kind of feel like 1 minute you make progress, the next minute it just falls back the way, and 2 steps forward, or what is it they say, 1 step forward and 2 steps back? Is that the kind of situation that's happening at Spurs just now?
Yeah, definitely, and I think you can even see it in our results when it looks like, oh, okay, maybe Spurs could be able to do something here. We just will lose a random game. We'll concede sloppy goals. This player will be unavailable. It's just, there's not really anything that we can like cling on to say, yeah, like Spurs are going to have a positive season right now. Yeah, it sounds mad that I'm saying this off the back of 2 successive wins, and I'm happy for those 2 wins because I actually think honestly those 2 wins are probably the first time since Man City where we've actually played some decent football. Aston Villa in the second half, and then Newcastle for pretty much the whole game, bar the first like 15 to 20 minutes. But I just think with this team, there's no consistency in their performance. There's no consistency in any sort of positive style of play, and there's no consistency in results. So, unfortunately for us, we're just in this weird, as I said, weird like purgatory where it's just whatever. Really, you just gotta you just gotta ride whatever roller coaster this is, and just hope that there's a positive at the end of the tunnel.
As the the thing for as an outsider looking in, and you've got the West Ham Tottenham rivalry, but pushing that aside, the Kane situation. I mean, he's picking up a little bit, but it's taken a while. Was that the biggest impact really over the summer? I know it's not just all about one player, but when one player has such a massive impact in terms of goals each season, and I know there's other players we'll talk about in a minute, but does that set the tone for the season because you've got a player that potentially doesn't want to be there?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly, he's our best player, and when he doesn't want to be at the club, and he's playing the way he was playing prior to that Newcastle game, then yeah, it sends the wrong type of message to our team. Like it was clear to see that he was lacking when he was playing for us before the Newcastle game. Like his performances were languid, his consistency in front of goal was poor. He was just a bad performer for Spurs. And I think, especially in a team like ours, where, as I mentioned, the quality in our team currently is not to a high standard. It's nowhere near as good as it used to be. We are heavily reliant on Harry Kane and Son. And if they have an off day, then we're in trouble. So as you saw, when Son is the one that's trying to do the bulk of the work and Kane is misfiring, it's going to have a negative impact on the team, 100%, especially when he's our chief goal scorer and, based on last season, our chief creator as well.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think then from what Toby's saying with regards to Spurs? I mean,
it's the Kane situation just like sort of stinks. It was. I mean, look, we've had experience in this, and we can actually sit there and say, we went through the Payet situation, we went through the Arnautovic situation, which was really, really similar. Not as bad, because to be fair to Kane, I mean, as far as I can see, he's not playing well. It's clearly mentally affected him. And at some point, you just think maybe Levy should have taken the money in the summer. Like, there must have been strikers out there that you could have spent the money on that would have probably contributed more goals right now than Kane has. Like, he does look a bit disinterested at times. And yeah, he is. Look, he is a world-class centre forward. Like, let's not deny it. When he wants to play,
yeah,
he is unplayable. He's going to start playing. I think he's going to start playing now. Like, I actually have full confidence in him turning this season around. My issue was just down to how bad he was playing to begin with. But if I take my Spurs hat off and I put my just general football hat on, you can't just expect a player who's had his heart set on a move all summer, then just turn up and play and just pretend as if nothing's happened. It's gonna have a negative effect on his ability to perform for that club, because he didn't want to be in that situation, and now he's forced to be in this situation, and of course he's going to be demotivated by that. So, as much as I was angry at Harry Kane, if I take a step back and look at it from a neutral fan's point of view, I can 100% see why he'd be upset, why he'd be frustrated. But in the end of the day, he only has himself to blame for this, for being in this position. He's the one who acted the way he did in the summer. He's the one who was advised, I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, to sign a 6-year deal. Of course, the club were in a much better place, and I will always blame the club first before I blame Harry Kane. But ultimately, from a player perspective, it's your career. Nobody put a gun to your head to sign that contract.
Yeah. Toby, then, Thinking about West Ham, I think the last time we had you on was probably before the pandemic, before the COVID thing struck. You know, that word that everyone hates talking about. And things were very, very different for us West Ham fans. And you know, but to be honest, Toby, mate, I mean, I think every West Ham fan is still in dreamland. To be honest, we don't really know what's going on. We're not used to it, and we're making like massive transitions in our brains, and it's mind-boggling, to be honest. But you know, from an outsider, from a Tottenham fan's point of view, looking in, how do you see West Ham? And you know, over the last couple of games we've played each other, and then going into tomorrow's game as well.
I think West Ham are in a really good place, man. I know there have been like one or two hiccups this season. The loss at home to Brentford, and then the loss to Wolves. I think was it Wolves you lost to? I can't even remember.
Brentford and
Man United.
And United. Sorry. But I think West Ham are in a good place, man. Throughout last season, I was just like, it's gonna end. They're gonna come back down to reality.
You weren't the only one, mate.
You weren't the only one saying that.
And I'm like, wow, like they're actually a really hard side to beat these days. It's ridiculous. Like Moyes made you look so robust last season, and I felt like him being able to keep the bulk of your players fit only served him well. And then this season, I feel like you're trying to build on the work he did last season. So you're like, last season we finished 6th and we were relatively stable out of possession. Let's see what we can do now in possession. Yeah. And I think that's credit to David Moyes and credit to your squad, because now I'm seeing a team who have added some quality into the starting 11 with Kurt Zouma. I think that was a quality signing for West Ham at the price. And I'm seeing him rejuvenate players like Ben Rama, who was always going to bounce back, really and truly, once he had a run of games and the manager fitted him in the right system. And I'm actually seeing you lot play some really good football. You play better football than us.
Yeah.
No word of a lie. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on a West Ham.
No, I don't think you are, mate. Because I think I can agree for the first time in a long time. Like
you're playing better football than we are this season.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's what impressed me the most with West Ham. Like they're actually, it's left you a bit vulnerable at times defensively, but like you're actually trying to take the game to the opposition. Like now, like it's not just sit back, soak up, hit teams, or go direct. You're actually trying to get the ball on the floor and play some football. And I think you can see some positive results.
Yeah, I think that's what we do see though, Matt, isn't it? But it's also interesting when you look at other clubs and the scenarios that they're going through. For example, with Tottenham, you know, flicking the manager, changing the manager, you know, several times in a season. It's a bit like what West Ham have done in recent years. We've gone through a history of not having many managers, and then suddenly out of the blue, we start changing, trying to build. We throw money at the team, and we realise that throwing money at the team willy-nilly is not the answer. It's about investing in the whole structure. It's the whole system. I think that's probably what Pochettino was doing. I think I'm not trying to go back to that. I'm just trying to use that as an example. But what Moyes is doing, who, you know, everyone thought he was done. He was absolutely done, and including me, including every probably West Ham fan. And he's come back and he's just rejuvenated and he's changing all our opinions. But coming back onto Tottenham, mate. I mean, you played Newcastle last game out. You was 1-3-2. This was your starting lineup. What was your thoughts on that starting lineup in particular? Was that your strong 11, or you know, and how do you see yourselves lining up for the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's our strongest 11. Listen, we're not in the best of situations, but I'm content with that lineup for now. Like it works. Well, it should work. That's from amongst all the group of players we have right now, with the exception of probably Eric Dyer. That's our best team. That's our best team, and I expect that will be the team that will start tomorrow. It's got the 30 million euro right back that we signed. It's got the 50 million euro centre back that we signed. It's got the best striker in the league for me. It's got Son, who's banging form, 4 goals and 8 appearances this season as well. And it's got the only actual anchor in our team in Skip playing in the team. and then Hojbjerg and Ndombele, and then Reguilon as well. So I think it's our best possible lineup that we can play, and I'll be positive now, a little bit positive with Spurs. This is the midfield three that we've wanted to see as Spurs fans this season, because it just doesn't work with our other midfielders. Like our midfield, even that midfield three, it's not perfect. It's not the best midfield, but from the group of players we have available, it is easily the one on paper that should be playing week in, week out. And me personally, I'm happy to see that midfield play most weeks in the Premier League. So, yeah, as I said, give or take with Eric Dyer, because you can remove, he's not good. You can remove him for Sanchez, you can remove him for Rodon. Like, I don't really see much between these centre backs, but I think that's the best possible lineup we can play at the moment, and I expect that to be the lineup that we'll play tomorrow. And I think it can cause you some problems, 100%.
What do you think, Matt?
I don't really know much about him, to be honest. He's the only one he'd skip. Like you said Dyer, and I would absolutely say, like, I don't understand with the other centre backs in your squad how he still starts. Like, for me, he's your biggest weak link at the back. Like, no. But the one for me, I did see something in the media about the other day that was it Winks? What's happened to Winks? I remember him coming on the scene against. I'm sure it was against West Ham when he made his debut. He played a really good game that day, and now all of a sudden he's not playing and he's throwing his toys at the pram. You've got Oliver Skips coming instead of him.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious with Winks. He's not a defensive midfielder. So the difference between him and Skip is Skip actually, that's his natural role, to sit and to break up play, and he's tidy-ish in possession. Harry Winks is nowhere near as good defensively as Oliver Skip. He can't intercept and break up play like Oliver Skip. So that then means he's redundant in our deepest role. So then we have to, Harry Winks is a central midfielder, but he does not progress the ball at the speed or potency in which we need for him to play in that midfield for us. The ball's too slow, the passes are too safe, and his form has just been terrible for the past 2 years, to the point now we can't consider it form. Like, it's no longer form. This is just who you are as a player. And this player that we see in front of us is not good enough to play for Spurs anymore. So that's why Winks has fallen from where he used to be, and that's why Skip is playing. Skip is he's no like Fernandinho, he's no Rodri. He's not an elite player, but like, he's someone who is diligent in his role. He had a really good loan spell at Norwich. He's starting to play his best football for Spurs over the past few games, and he looks like someone who's only gonna get better, and he's an academy prospect as well. So whilst he's not the ideal player for us in our best ever Spurs lineup currently, he's a player who's doing a job. He's very functional, and he's got gears to go, and he offers this team something that Harry Winks can't. So that's why he starts and Winks is cast aside.
Yeah. The other player I wanted to talk about was Dele Alli. Like,
oh gosh,
where do we start? Yeah, exactly. What has happened to this guy?
Mate,
because I have to say, when he came on the first couple of seasons, even I was like, this guy is going to be an amazing player. He's got the world at his feet, and then Nuno can't be wrong about him, surely, when Mourinho said the same. Like, Mourinho done the same thing. Like, he started the season this season, didn't he? And I thought maybe you're going to get him back again, but already he's back out. Like, he's out of the team again. What's going on with him?
He's done. It's a shame, because we have so many of these players in our team that used to be either good or quality for us, and they're just so poor. And we also have a lot of players who are meant to be good or quality for us and are just so poor. The bottom line is we have way too many poor players in our team, and unfortunately, Dele is one of them at the moment. His first 3 years, I think his output and his assists, his numbers masked a lot of his deficiencies. He was never like he got moved out of he came to Spurs as a centre mid. He got moved out of centre mid because he was not good enough to play centre mid for Spurs when we had the likes of Dembele, Dyer, Wanyama, who could play in the middle and do a much better job. He's never been a creator. He's never been a playmaker. He's never been someone who sets the tempo for the games. His game has always been based off of instinct, running off the striker, finishing moves in the final third, linking up with the likes of Son of Kane, and making the right pass when he's at the edge of the box or inside the box. So outside of that, he was always a limited player. Now what we're seeing is he's no longer sharp in front of goal. He's no longer able to at least be trusted to make the right pass in the box. Yeah. He's no longer making those runs beyond the striker. And worst of all, Nuno was trying and is still trying his hardest to make him into this number 8 type midfielder, even though he can't run with the ball, he can't pass from deep with the ball, and he can't really beat players, and he's not really good at tackling. So he's literally a redundant player in our midfield. And yet again, it's the same point with Skip. We have too many of these redundant players that play for us and they do nothing on the pitch. Yeah. So with Dele now, I think the writing is on the wall. For his own sake and for Spurs' own sake, we need to cut ties. We have to. We really have to cut ties. He's 25 years old. His career isn't over. He still has quality when it comes to finding the back of the net. I still think he has that deep inside him. He just needs to find his edge again. But as far as playing for Spurs is concerned, his days are done, man. He needs to go.
Yeah, big fall from grace. You know, looking at the stats for the season, Tottenham have played 8, won 5, lost 3, but only scored 9 goals, which is something that I was really surprised about when I was looking at the stats for the season, conceding 12 with 3 clean sheets compared to West Ham playing 8, won 4, lost 2, but scoring 15 goals, something we're not used to seeing, unless it's been the last 18 months, really, to be honest. But it does set us up nicely for a good and interesting and exciting, and we know it's been exciting over the past couple of years, London derby. Let's go take a look at what happened the last time the two clubs met. Now, we know the big player, one of the big players in that game that won't be playing tomorrow is Jesse Lingard. Toby, we saw the impact that Jesse Lingard had for West Ham last year. We've seemed to have continued form even without him, but do you think that's going to be a big player that we're missing for the likes of big teams or teams that come along in terms of Spurs?
Yeah, I think Jesse Lingard. Yeah, I think he will be missed. I know Ben Rama is doing his best to fill Jesse's boots, and I feel like Ben Rama has qualities that Jesse doesn't have. But I feel like Jesse, he had some qualities that really served you lot well. He was a brilliant presser. He was someone who could carry the ball from midfield into the final third. And he had a good eye for goal. Like, nobody can deny that. He scored, how many goals he scored for West Ham from January through to May? Like 7, 8 league goals.
I think it was nine goals.
9 league goals. Yeah. So
yeah.
He's someone, even at Man United, even though it wasn't like swashbuckling numbers, he's always been someone who can shoot, and he can shoot from range as well. So I think that's definitely going to be something that's missed within your weaponry, but I still think you lot have enough quality to do some damage to teams. Bowen is still there. Ben Rama's picking up. Vlasic, I've not really seen much of him this season, but I mean, he
to be fair, neither we. So
yeah, so spent big money on him, so you're going to sort of need him to deliver as well.
I think the thing is, though, that this is the difference between what Moyes is doing with West Ham players. He's got a history now of bringing players in and bedding them in over time, where we're so used to expecting players to come in and hit the ground running. Moyes absolutely states from the start. He's done it with Ben Rama. He's done it with Bowen. He's doing it with Areola currently. The only players that really come in automatically so far has been Zuma, because we've been struggling defensively. Yeah. And I can't really think of anyone else, Matt. Lingard had to come in because of an injury, but recent years. But apart from that, everyone else is bedded in. David Moyes' press conference, he states, I don't want to, even though I'm spending the money on Vlasic, I want to give him the time to bed into the squad. That's his mantra really at West Ham. So listen, before we ask you your predictions for tomorrow, there's a couple of questions. Everyone's loving having you on the channel again, Toby, so thank you very much again for coming on. But WHU58 saying, question for you, do you think Kane is having to play deeper because he's lost a bit of pace and sharpness as a striker, or is it a fatigue issue? I mean, of course he's played pretty much solid throughout the summer as well. Do you think that's impacted him?
I think it's the former. I think he has lost some yards of pace. I don't think he's lost sharpness. I think he's still ruthless in the final third. He's just been off his usual game, and it happens. Players are allowed to have down periods, but I do think the injuries that he's had over the year, the injuries that he's accumulated, I think it sort of plays at the back of his mind. I think it's visible that he's nowhere near as intense a presser as he was in his peak years under Pochettino. And I think it's visibly clear that the team have to play a different way to accommodate Harry Kane, or he has to play a different way to function in our team. Before, he would lead the press. Now he sits back, he's more withdrawn, he relies more on his passing qualities, and he lets the likes of Son and Lucas Moura run off him, and he puts chances on the plate for these guys. But our issue with Harry Kane is that at times he drops way too deep. He forgets that he's a striker. You're a striker. You're a primary goal scorer. Your primary objective in our team is to score first.
Bang
the
those
rest can come as supplementary additions. But your primary objective in this team is to score first. So I do think, the wear and tear of those injuries over the years has definitely taken away some of his pace. But not his sharpness.
Yeah. Last question before we ask you your predictions from Mark Alexander. Does Toby think Nuno's the right manager for Spurs?
I'll be blunt. I'll be honest. No, I don't. And I said this before he got the job. I said this long before he was even considered for the job. I have nothing against Nuno. I think he's a nice guy. I don't even think he's a bad manager. I think he's good at what he does well, the transition-based football. I think he did a really sick job at Wolves. I think he's got Premier League pedigree, but we needed a manager that was different to the type of manager that we had before. He's not a better manager than Jose Mourinho. And I don't think we'll find many managers who are better than Jose Mourinho in terms of their resume. But what I mean by that is I don't believe that he will make Spurs a better outfit than Jose did. I think he's a nicer manager. I think he gets us a little bit organized in certain aspects, like our pressing off the ball. It was a bit haphazard under Jose. It's much better under Nuno. But he's very much the same as Jose, where they don't really prioritize build-up. They're direct managers. They want their first instinct is, how do I get the ball from defense to attack as quickly as possible? Yeah. They don't really prioritize the build-up and the variety of ways we can hurt the opposition. And unfortunately for us, we need a manager who does. And we need a manager like Moyes, like Pochettino, like Potter, like some of these other talented managers who get more out of the players that they have at their disposal. I don't think Nuno is the manager who will elevate a player beyond their capability. He's never even seen that manager for me. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Toby, mate, it's been a pleasure having you on. The amount of comments, like banterful comments, as you can imagine, you can probably see them. You're getting called Spuds, you're getting called Tot Scum, you name it. Everything under the sun. Neil from Down Under says, I don't think Spuds have had a good manager since Poch. And then, you've got the banter coming in. Shouldn't we be playing it at Wembley? It's our cup final after all.
It is your cup final. But to be honest, we're right there with you now.
It's the League Cup final tomorrow. Then that's what we'll call it, right? So, Toby, mate, go for it. What's your predictions for the game tomorrow?
I'm going to be positive tomorrow. I think we've actually hit a decent bit of form, albeit against Newcastle and Villa. Kane's back in the goal. Son's firing. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, man. I feel like we can edge it. Last year was difficult. Last year we had some shocking defending in the first half to concede those 2 goals. Shocking. I don't think we can still make those mistakes, but I don't think we'll be as vulnerable as we were last season. In fact, I'm lying. We will be. We will be. But I just think Harry Kane, he's got the taste for goals back in his mouth in our Premier League goals. I think he's got a pretty good record against West Ham. I fancy him to score tomorrow, and with the way Son's playing, I think them two can elevate us past your lot. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
Cool, mate. Well, listen, it's like I said, Toby, it's been an absolute pleasure having you back on, and hopefully we'll get you back on for the return fixture moving forward in the season. And I was going to say all the best after tomorrow's game, but as the rivalry kicks in, I won't wish you all the best. I'm only joking. I'm only messing, mate. I'm only messing. Listen, a pleasure having you on. Thank you very much.
You. Thank you for having
Chat
me.
loves it. It's good banter, and we'll take it easy, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks
See you
for
later.
Cheers, Toby.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Cool, Matt, again. Yeah, love it. Great insight again from another away fan. And lovely guys. I think it's the second time he's been on the channel. Takes the banter really well, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is. Entertaining people, have a laugh. Get some insight while you're at it. Ticks all the boxes.
It does. Before we move on, I did announce earlier a few days ago that we were launching a really cool Christmas bauble. Now, it's thanks to my wife. I've got to give her all the credit. You can actually get your hands on this Christmas bauble, personalised, fully handmade from my wife, and you can get it personalised to your name and your number that you are looking for. So I've put the link in the chat, and for every purchase that is made, and there's been several purchases made already, there's going to be a donation going to the Irons supporting food banks. So if you are interested in getting yourself something personalised for Christmas that's going to have a West Ham bauble with your name and number on the back, then get in on the comments, like I've said there, and put it in there. There is current shipping to Ireland and all of the UK, but if you are further afield and you are interested, get in touch with us and or the website, and they'll contact you and let you know about what shipping is to go further afield. But it's really cool. A witness are doing it. It's quality. I can see them all sitting there. Lots of West Ham baubles getting made as we speak. So if you are interested, like I said, get on that. And if you are new around here, please make sure you do go and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. So it would be massive, massive if you could hit that subscribe button right now. Then there's a bell notification beside it. Do the bell notification. If you're interested, hit the thumbs up. That pushes our stuff into the algorithm, and it's all good stuff. So, Matt, I think it's time that we talk about West Ham. So before we do that, let's go and see some need-to-know facts about the game for tomorrow. He's saying, Matt, come on, look at your face. Why are you confused? Go for it.
Because the last screen said West Ham and Leeds on it.
Oh, excuse me. That's my fault. Ignore it. Ignore it. You know what it meant. You know what it meant. You're not supposed to bring that up, Matt. You're supposed to message me privately.
What's going on?
We're not going to go into David Moyes' press conference because it looks like he's not done a press conference this time round. Now, I think what happened was that he may have tied in his press conference with the post-match press conference from the Genk game. Now, unless I've completely missed his press conference, which is not like me, I can't see anything from a press conference that he's done, to be honest. So, but what we do have is some kind of football news, you could say, as such, and that is the fact that we know that Antonio returns. Antonio was only rested for the Genk game. So he's not injured. He's not picked up anything. Nobody needs to worry about that. What do you think about resting Antonio, Matt, for the Europa League game?
I think Moyes got it right. We've sat here and said that he normally plays, is it 25 games a season he normally averages out at? And he's probably already played 10.
Yeah.
So if we're going on previous seasons, you're like already at the point where he's nearly halfway through his season.
Yeah.
So Moyes is probably going, well, there's going to be times I have to pick and choose when to rest him. And you could say maybe it was a gamble. Maybe Moyes said it was enough, but we won 3-0 and didn't have to play him. So smart management.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to set pieces, we've been talking about set pieces all season. I think we've been struggling for set pieces, and then bang, in 2 games, we get 3 set piece goals, 3 centre-halves bang up with a goal. Augie, Diop and Dawson, what do you think?
They had to been coming. We'd sat here for how many watch-alongs and said, we were the kings of the set pieces last season and we haven't scored any this season. And then, like London buses you wait around, they all come in one after the other.
Yeah.
It was coming. It always will. It's just the thing for us is delivery. You have to get that delivery right. And the deliveries hadn't really been on. I think if you go back, you look at how many assists and deliveries and accurate crosses or whatever you want to call them that both Soufal and Cresswell put in last season, and in the Project Restart, we were very high on the crossing. But this season so far, the delivery hadn't been that great, had it? Well,
yeah.
I think the only person putting any decent crosses in was Antonio. And then all of a sudden, it's just clicked. You had the Bowen corner for that near post corner that finally paid off after the 8 games or whatever. And then you had the Cresswell deliveries, and all of a sudden, get the deliveries right and we start scoring, which we will, because we have 2 centre backs that are over 6 foot. We've got 2 holding midfielders that are both over 6 foot. You've got Antonio, who's probably about 6 foot, but he's got the spring on him. So all of a sudden, half your team can get on the end of a delivery as long as the delivery's right. So, I mean, is it since the start of last season? We've scored more. Is it 28 or 23 or something? Since start last season, we've scored more set pieces than anyone else.
Yep.
The way Moyes has built up the team, he will, because you've got a few tricky wingers to put crosses in, or the fullbacks, and you've got a core down middle of the pitch that are all high enough to score them. So, it's something we may try and rely on tomorrow.
Yeah. I did see that, James. Sorry, I meant to say to you, I think that was what he did. He tied it in with a late press conference, so apologies for that. But yeah, no, I get that point about the set pieces. I mean, it was nothing I was worried about, to be honest with you, because we were still scoring goals, etc. But it's definitely a threat because we were so high up there last season that we can definitely use and utilize. But it comes Tottenham. Tottenham comes back to the London Stadium. We're, as of late in the recent years, we're getting some decent score lines against them. How do you think West Ham are feeling going into this game tomorrow, Matt?
I think they'll generally be positive. I think they'll fancy themselves.
I
think, was it Bowen said in his interview after the game that, they now fear no one in the Europa League, and you think teams are going to start fearing playing us the way we play. Just see what Toby's come on and said, you guys actually play good football now. We make mistakes at the back. I think the guys will be up for it. I think they'll fancy their chances. We picked up 4 points off them last season, and we've only progressed since then.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have Lingard anymore, but we haven't missed him. We haven't. Moyes has again found a way to continue the team without him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wrote down, like when you put it up there from earlier, the team that Tottenham put out last week. I mean, they brought in a right back who still hasn't shown he's actually a decent right back. He's come off the continent playing for Barcelona, where they just normally attack, so he hasn't shown much defensively. They brought in a centre back who,
come on, give me the names, Matt. We want names.
We got Emerson, right back, 30 million.
Yeah.
Christian Romero,
yeah.
Atlanta centre back. But there's no. You brought him in, great, but then you've got Dyer playing alongside him. I'm still not sure about this skip. Maybe he will be good. I don't know. And it's the front three. The front three is what I always look at Tottenham and always worry about, to be honest. But the defence you can get at, because even Regulion, the left back, I'm not convinced is amazingly as a defender.
Yeah.
They've got the players to play a back five, but then when they tried a back five at the start of the season, it didn't work out for them. So.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, it's definitely going to make for an exciting London derby. So if you are watching, what we'll do is we'll start to dissect the team a little bit. Get your starting 11 in the chat right now, and we'll go through it ourselves together. Right, Matt, this time, let's see if we can even remotely get close to a starting 11.
I'm pretty confident we're going to smash this and we're going to get the 11.
I think we're going to smash this as well. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty simple. So, shall we start? Goalkeeper, we've got Areola or Fabianski, but I'm going to try and drag out a little bit, mate. So, Fabianski's been our Premier League goalkeeper. Areola, as of late, has been our cup goalie, but I don't see him making any changes, and I think he's going to bring Fabianski into between the sticks. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I was calling for Areola, and I don't think he'd done himself any favours in the game on Thursday. Like he didn't have a lot to do, and then when he did do stuff he did, he didn't look confident, didn't look commanding that we needed. I keep saying about Fabianski, but Fabianski looked solid against Everton, didn't do anything wrong. And then, in some ways, Areola got lucky on Thursday night. He had the one-on-one he came out for and just sort of ran into the ball with the player. And we got the luck of the break of the bounce of the ball. He came for that cross, didn't get anywhere near it when he shouldn't have come for it in the first place. And then even then, his kicking wasn't great in the second half either. So I think he's actually forget me saying Fabianski's playing his way out of playing. I think Areola just played his way into guaranteeing that for now Fabianski will start. So, yeah.
Well, we all know Soufal is going to be missing for the game tomorrow, so let's remove him there. We've got the fullback positions here, so we've got a choice of a few players. We've got Creswell, Masuaku, Fredericks, and Johnson. So let's be brutally honest. Johnson keeps his position on right back. Yep, excellent. Creswell keeps his position at left back.
Yeah.
Put
it this way. If we wake up tomorrow morning and Creswell's magically pulled a hamstring, Masuaku still wouldn't start.
Because Fredericks would move in place for him.
I think Fredericks would go the other side and Johnson would go to left back.
Well, the interesting thing about the other night was that Fredericks went in left back and Johnson stayed in right back position.
Yeah, I was a bit...
He's done all right. I mean, he didn't have a long time there, but...
No, I don't think he did anything wrong. I just don't think you get as much... Considering that Johnson's more of a defensive fullback anyway, he's old school. He's defend first and then, all right, do something later. Fredericks is more attacking. But Fredericks didn't do as much on that wing because he was on the wrong side.
I get that, but this is where I'm at. We've got a player who's playing with momentum in that position. So therefore,
I trust him more left back than Fredericks.
But being 3-0 up is my point I'm trying to make. So I don't think West Ham, if God forbid Creswell did pick up an injury, I actually don't think Johnson would move in there until Soufal was back. I really don't. I think it would be, unless Moyes was trying out Fredericks with the mindset that, well, maybe he can do what a Johnson can do. But anyway,
no, he can't.
He can't. we know Fredericks is. We're pretty adamant he's not going to play in there. Right, let's bring out the 4 centre halves that we're spoiled with right now. I know we'll probably fire through this pretty quickly. Now, what I will say is Diop got a goal, had a great game against Genk, and against a good Genk side. Like I thought Genk played well. Did themselves justice.
What was the Japanese guy's name?
Ito.
Yeah, who the Genk fan said about in the preview, and he was 100% right. He's a tasty little player.
Yeah.
But
So-
no, they did well. You know what? If this was old West Ham, you say it's harsh to drop them, but it's not dropping anymore. It's rotating.
Yeah.
Because I personally think Dawson and Diop both had great games, especially against that 6'7" centre back.
Yeah.
Sorry, the centre forward.
Forward, yeah.
That Diop jumped over the top of to score his header. But the fact they both started tells you that.
Augie sits in with Zuma.
Yeah.
And
But it also means that I'm now not worried about one of them getting injured.
because we've got the confidence in the players that have been stepping up to the plate.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree. Absolutely. Yep. So there you go, Dawson. You can sit out and Diop. You can go and have a little cheeky break. Right. Let's go into the central of midfield. Now, we do know that Krul is missing. He's still in isolation. We're bringing out all the potential deep-lying midfielders that could play in that role. So, of course, Lanzini had a shot. Thought he played all right. Thought he'd done decent. I didn't think he was awful. Didn't think he was fantastic. Didn't think he was crap.
He grew into the game.
Yeah.
I think as the game went on, he actually got better. As the space opened up more, he started dictating from deep position. But
yeah. Right. Okay, so let's jump into it then. Lanzini's not going to start, is he?
No.
Right, gives us a good option coming off the bench. Noble came on, played. He's obviously recovered well from his little knock, but he's not starting, is he?
No.
And we're
It's rice
relying
and potato
on
salad.
yeah, rice and potato salad, who are going to sit in there nicely to protect absolutely everything that needs to be done. Now, talking of them, how are you feeling about them two after a couple of weeks of every West Ham fan moaning and about them?
Well, Everton game, they went back to the actual normal selves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Rice, for the most part, sat deeper and let Souček just push forward. Yes, Rice still got forward at times, but Rice wasn't bombing forward for the entire 90 minutes. Souček was just sitting back. It was mostly Souček getting forward. And then when Souček needed a breather, Rice would then take over.
Yeah.
So I got no problems with it. It looks like they got back on the same page and they've got the understanding back and they sort of switch roles back round again.
I think what we do know, though, and people are kind of still even though Souček is performing and still playing, people are saying, he needs to rest. But I don't know. I'm starting to think that rest for a player like Souček with the amount of ground that he covers probably does him more harm. They do talk about people who can't, athletes. There's some athletes that need to maintain their fitness levels at all occasions. So unless he's got a full-blown injury, then he won't play. This is like when we saw, do you remember when there was a break in football and the players you saw putting out videos or pictures was always Tommy Souček and Soufal, because they were constantly out running like left, right, and centre. And I think that Souček is that sort of player that I think he needs to keep the momentum running in his legs. I don't know. I mean, who am I to say that? But for me, it adds up, to be honest. But we're going to need these two firing in all cylinders, to be honest. We're going to need them to do what they were doing last season, aren't we? We're going to allow Souček to get further forward. But fair play. What I will say is, against Everton, we actually saw both go forward, but there was just more structure to it than there was before. Yeah. So there we go. They're protecting. Let's get Antonio right up top because we know he's back in. We know he was rested for that game. Left-hand side then.
Fornals.
I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I mean, I know we had a quiet game. I'm trying to remember the game. Maybe a couple of games in a row. But just seeing him come off the bench against Genk and immediately the impact he made coming off the bench against Genk was creativity, hard work, non-stop running. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal, I thought, for the little cameo that he had in that game. Let's move into the right side. Jared Bowen.
Got to be.
Yeah. I mean,
probably
the
our most informed player right now.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, mate. He's just there. He's scary. He's scarily good. Scarily good. Are we bringing Yarmolenko in?
No.
See you, Yarma. Good to see you, mate. But
although you know what, to be fair, he actually had a really good game on Thursday.
Yeah,
I will say
he did. What about Vlasic? Are you bringing him in?
No.
No, I'm sorry, Vlasic, mate. Yeah, your time will come at some point. Let's put Benny right in there in that supporting role. I think he's having a great season, to be honest, and I think he'll only but grow into the game. So what we are saying is that West Ham are going to go into this game unchanged. We could have set this up for you, but we dragged it out. There you go. There's Anton and Stato's starting 11 for the game tomorrow evening. Do you agree? Get your comments in and let us know your thoughts. But what it does do, Matt, is it gives us options off the bench. You've got Yarmolenko, you've got Vlasic, you've got, all those players coming off the bench. Like you said, mate, Yarmolenko, I mean, a game in the Europa League is going to do him the world of good. He had a good game. That's why I was kind of annoyed we never had a chance to do the Genk player ratings. That was down to the fact just of timings and games and all that sort of stuff. But I would have been interested to see what you would have rated him and how.
He even just now off the top of my head, I'd give him at least a 7, maybe an 8.
Yeah,
I actually thought we had. When I was watching the game at the time, I thought like Krezl was our best player. Well, Rice obviously, but I sort of move Rice to the side. Rice almost gets discounted sometimes because it's like otherwise I just pick Rice as the best player of the game because he is.
Yeah.
But Krezl was our best outlet. But then after that, it was on that game, Yarmolenko. He actually looked interested. He was making runs off the ball. He was tracking back. I was like, this is the Yarmolenko we normally see playing on international duty, not on the place for West Ham. So
yeah,
he actually had a really good game. And at the moment, he would be a good option to have off the bench. Yeah. He loves the London derby as well.
What tactics, what mindset do you think Moyes is in, knowing it's Spurs that are coming here? You could easily say that Spurs could change the dynamics of the game. It might not feel like it's typical Premier League game, but I think Moyes will treat this like any typical Premier League game, and he's going to keep going for momentum, and he's just going to say to the lads, what is he going to say, mate? How's he going to nullify the threat of Son? How's he going to nullify the threat of Kane?
Well, funny enough, I don't think he will have to try. I don't think he's going to have to say anything. Like he's going to have to make any special tactics up to do it because of the way we play. We press high up front on their defence where, the defence can make mistakes. And we play with a low block. And as we've seen in years gone by, if they do start with Lucas Moura on one side and Son on the other, they want pace and they want to get in behind. Harry Kane will try and drop deep and thread them through. But if we play a low block, you're not getting through. There's nothing to get through.
Yeah.
I think we done it in the game. Might have been the home game last time we played, where we just once we got our goals, we went compact. We done the low block and we just pushed them out wide and said, "Put your crosses in." I think they ended up scoring one from a corner, but they didn't really look like scoring. Kane was trying to battle against two centre backs and didn't really get much out of either of them.
Yeah.
And I think Moyes will probably try and say the same thing again. He'll say, Bowen and Pablo, you're both playing on the wing because you're going to have to do the workload, helping to track back and double up on the wingers when they go forward. Rice or Souček, when you're sitting, one of you's going to probably have to try and pick up on Kane when he drops deep. But make sure nothing comes from the middle of the pitch, push him out wide and get them to put the crosses in. And we'll back Zuma and Ogbonna to win the headers.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw the interview Zuma done today. Was it today? In the London Evening Standard?
Evening Standard.
When he said, I've got no issues about marking Harry Kane after Mark Antonio in training every day.
I love that. Love that confidence. It's quality. Listen, before we move on and ask you, actually what we will do is ask you right now for your predictions for the game tomorrow. So put in the chat what your predictions are for the game tomorrow. Right, before we do move on, I'm going to talk to you about our channel sponsors who are Football Prizes and what a quality prize they have back up and running for you guys tonight. And it is a Mickey Antonio signed and framed West Ham United shirt. I'm putting the link in the chat if you're interested. Tickets are £4.95.99 tickets to be sold. The competition ends next Friday, the 29th of October at 7:30 p.m. The draw will be live at 8:30 p.m. on the Facebook channel of Football Prizes. Only 14 tickets have been sold so far So get yourself involved in that one. What a great prize for that one. And Matt's got no more room on the back of his wall, as you can see. So do not worry. Let's jump into the chat though before we go into the before we get into the score predictions. Where are we? Where shall we start? Howard Ailes is saying 4-2 West Ham. Antonio, all 4 goals, smash up Tottenham. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Mark Alexander saying Fab, Krez, Og, Zuma, Johnson, Rice, Suchek, Benny Fornals, Bowen, Antonio, unchanged. Troj is saying I reckon Fredericks could play versus Son. I mean, I see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I know you're thinking behind that, Troj, but I don't think it is going to happen. Spurs is a beatable team. We need another clean sheet. English Yardie. I think that would be great for West Ham. Stephen Richardson is saying shocking defending today. Watford, who lost 5-0 last week, dominated the game. Yeah, crazy scorelines today, wasn't it? Considering the results that they had last week. Troj is saying Moyes done it before tactically. Yeah, he has. Mark Alexander Johnson has been getting forward recently. Clive is saying, can we win and keep a clean sheet? Neil from Down Under, Johnson doesn't start well, but he gets better as the game goes on. I think he did against Genk, actually. I don't think he did start well against Genk, but he absolutely grew into that game. There was a couple of times he got forward. I could see, Matt, he was thinking, I'm going to get forward, and I've tried to make a couple of passes, and he did get dispossessed very quickly. However, he made up for that in abundance as the game moved on. David Anderson saying Fab, Johnson, Zuma, Gorbona, Creswell, Dex, Suchek, Bowen, Fornals, Benny and Antonio. Again, a strong starting 11 in the same. So have a strong bench, which Moyes needs to use when we get tired. What do you think of that one?
It is, yeah, we will have. You think it's 9 players now, so you think Ariola's 1, that gives you 8 spots.
Yeah.
You could have Masuaku and Fredericks.
Yeah.
Gives you pacey fullbacks and options going forward if he wants to do like he done against Villa and put them in front, shout out the game. You said Lanzini, Yarmolenko, Vlasic. That's already what 6, that usually leaves you about 2 players.
Yeah.
It does actually finally look like we've got some options. Would ideally love an actual proper centre forward on the bench, but can't have everything apparently.
No, you can't, mate. You can't have your pie and eat it. Vlasic would be an interesting player to bring on when all the players are a bit drained and see what he can do from Liam DA. What do you think of that, mate?
He's still he was making the right sort of runs on Thursday. He's one of these players that he was dropping in behind fullbacks. He was dropping in the space between the lines. He looks quite comfortable on the ball. He likes dribbling. He could be one to bring on. You know, if we're going into the final 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it is a draw, and you're looking to try and push on and win, he would be one you could bring on for someone just to try and run at the defenders.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Clive, where is it? Clive said, "Oh dear." Anton said, "Lanzini, don't slip on the drill, lads." Salah again. Oh no, Anton! Not everyone was moaning. I don't know what did I say. What did I say? I'm doing a Stell and I'm going back the way. Don't worry, Stell's not being transferred to Chelsea Fan TV. He's just taking a well-earned rest. He's knackered. He's in bed before 7:00 every night. He's watching Emmerdale, Coronation Street, you name it. Reading the TV guide, getting his pipe and smoking it, and getting someone else's pipe and probably sucking on that bad boy anyway. But Neil from Down Under, I hope you're well. Trosh, Fornals tackles, and it's a derby. Yeah, absolutely. Trini Lanzini does not get in the same scoring positions as Fornals. Neither does he, or can he track back as much as Fornals. Happy Amaret says, my heart is nervous. Belly, my head says we'll smash them 2 or 3-0. Mark Alexander says Fornals over Lanzini all day. Did I do a mistake? Did I put him in? Did I put him in? I don't think I did put him in.
I don't think you did. Well, we did. No. Well, we did. No, I don't think you did. But
yeah.
I think when we were debating about it.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, listen, he always gets up for a London derby. He scored a couple of goals.
He likes London derby goals, doesn't he?
He likes them. Yeah, you never know. He might make a subs appearance, and they might just do that for that reason. And Neil says we've lost the last 2 home league games for that reason. I'm nervous, but also confident. Russ is in the house. Come on, guys, it's our cup final. Yes, it is. Billy's saying yes, Amaret. I'm the same. I'm thinking 2-0 and 21. Benny score. Happy Amaret saying I want to see Lanzini get at least 25 minutes and smashing on the goal past them. It's not just for the eye candy reasons. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be from distance. I was at the game where we won. Remember that game at the London Stadium under the lights where we won 1-0 and he tapped it in the back of the net? mean, the atmosphere that night, mate, was electric. That was probably the first time I ever felt the real what the capabilities.
That was the season they were going for the title against Leicester.
Yeah.
And that basically stops them winning the league. They end up finishing third in a 2-horse race.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonas saying, I hope Antonio is fit. I think he will. Clive, not nervous, keen to take another 3 points off them. Marcus saying Frederick's pace will help with Son. I'm nervous every game for Mark Alexander, being a West Ham fan for far too long. To be fair, in league, Moyes hardly uses the bench from Billy. Happy Emirates a bit worrying that Antonio wasn't even on the bench in case he was needed for Genk. I don't think that was ever going to happen, to be honest. I don't think Moyes was worried, to be honest. Happy Emirate. Trosh was saying Yarmo was defending too. Yes, I love Yarmolenko. Adam Cook saying good team, 3-1 win. Let me see. Vinay saying Yarmo and Bowen on the right at the same time really works. Yarmo comes on and bangs a 90+5 winner. Yarmo's finished with us and needs to move him on. I thought Yarmo had a good game the other night. He really worked hard and got back to defend too. Don't want to see Yarmo up front. Zuma needs to do Kane in the spot. Love that. Harry's due a hat trick. Hopefully not. Trini Hammer saying a Desmond, 2 each. Jones saying 3-1. Gaza Letitia saying 3-3. Mark Alexander says rough up Kane, keep Son quiet. Job done. Henry Leighton saying 2-1. Benrahma to score the 20th to the 25th minute from Clive. Crikey M8 is saying 1 each. I'm picking West Ham 2-1, but I'll accept the draw if we have to score 3 goals in the last 10 minutes again. Neil from Down Under. Vinay saying 3-1 West Ham. Antonio Bowen Yarmo to score. There's a link for football prizes. Anil B 3-2 West Ham late winner. David Anderson saying 3-1 West Ham. Trev Tube 2-1 to West Ham. Billy saying 2-0 West Ham. Antonio first half, Benny in the second half. Fred is saying if we give usual 100%, we'll do the Spuds. Adam Cook says Antonio Fornals, Benny to score more above Spuds, move above Spuds. Troj Ogbonna to get another goal. Final score: West Ham 3, Tottenham 1. Anthony blah 3-2 West Ham. Crazy Costas, wait for it. 6-2, going to blow them away back in the Cribs packet. All salty. We don't really have anyone who's off form at the moment. Even Yarmo and Dawson had a couple of good games recently. 3-2 West Ham. Clean sheet tomorrow. Mark Alexander 3-2. Oggy, Bowen and Suchek set pieces to win it for us. There are so many comments. I'm going to have to start skipping through some of them. Gary J saying 2-1 West Ham. Mate Belota saying 8-7 West Ham. Billy saying Rice is key tomorrow to pick up Tottenham's midfield and Boston Park. Iron Bowen double. Fat Gachenko 3-2 West Ham. UFO land in the centre circle at half time. Oh, love it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click that link and you can go through the tier processes and click that and see what you think about our channel membership. It's in the chat. So I'll put that in one more time so you can see it. Mark Douglas says 4-1 Zuma, Antonio and Fornals. Oh my word, I can't keep up with all these chat. Mark Alexander still watching Corian finishing net in his jumper for winter. He is. WHU Anton, you're so wicked. The still. Anton demolishing the still Meister. Absolutely, mate. Trollage 2-1 West Ham. Son will score. Have you noticed more Spurs fans on EastEnders these days? Billy, a last minute winner is always special against them mugs. Proper salt in the wounds. Oh my word. I have to skip down. We will eat the Spuds. Bowen's on fire. And he's daddy. I love it. Quality. Matt, mate, what's your predictions?
I'm going for a 2-0.
2-0 clean sheet. West Ham victory. 3 points from the North London Spuds. I am going to go 3-1 West Ham. 3-1 West Ham. That's my confidence kicking in. Hopefully, I don't know what it is. I've never predicted West Ham to lose, and I'll continue not to predict West Ham to lose. So I'll stick with a 3-1. Anyway, Matt, who is the player you fear the most from Tottenham?
Son. You know what? At the moment, he's more critical to Tottenham than Kane is.
Yeah.
You know, at the start of the season when Kane wasn't playing, when he come back from the Euros late, they started without Kane. They had Son, Moura, and Bergwijn. and as a front three, which was just pure pace, they looked more lethal than they do now. But they have to accommodate Kane back in. He's slowed
I
up.
think I think Mora is also a player that we need to watch because I find that he goes under the radar against opposition because you've got Son and Kane a lot as well, but he's really effective. He's clever on the ball, he's pacey, he gets forward, and he bangs in with a couple of goals. I think we definitely need to watch them. Who should they watch tomorrow, mate? Who do they need to watch tomorrow?
After his rest, probably Antonio.
Antonio.
You know, I mean, look, when he's on his game, he's difficult for any defence to mark. His pace and power. He scored against them before. I mean, he didn't play against Romero in the preseason friendly, but he battered Atlanta's defence that day. He scored against Tottenham before. He generally is when he wants to. When he is on the form that he was at the start of the season, he's almost impossible for anyone to defend against.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's had a rest. Moyes has played it tactically, made sure that he's fully ready, raring to go tomorrow. So I hope he's firing all cylinders.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to add two more players into that mix, Benrahma and Bowen. I actually think they've both been playing really well this season. And I think a game like the London Derby could kickstart them on again and push them on. Having Bowen, score midweek was always really good. Benrahma making an appearance here and everywhere when it comes to other games, and he really does turn the game around. And he offers a new dynamic for West Ham. So I think those two players will also be really important. Now, I do have one more favour to ask anyone who is watching before I go, and that is to hit that subscribe button. I can't explain it to you enough. I want to push our channel to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year because it's just, I think it's where we need to be. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, please go and hit that subscribe button just now. I'm not bothered about everything else just now. Just go and hit that subscribe button. Now, I do think, Matt, if I'm right in saying this, if you are watching off of your phone and you're in the live chat option, at the top of the right-hand side of the live chat, there's a little X. If you press that little X, there's a little arrow, and below that arrow, it says share. I'm going to ask you right now to share our content onto all social media platforms to let any of your West Ham fan friends know that we exist. Don't worry, Still will be back. Don't worry, Russell will be back. Don't worry, we're all going to be here giving you regular content. It's going to get bigger and better as the days, weeks, months, and years go on. So please hit that subscribe button. I really want to see the channel moving up. We need to hit the 9,000 subscriber marker. We're really close to it, but the road to 10,000 is on. We have got 2.25 months to go before we need to hit that marker, and that's the challenge I'm going to set for you. So please do that. Anton, back in Dreamland again. Yes, I am, mate, as I always am. Even if you're a Spurs fan, you're welcome to subscribe as well and hit the like button, of course. From what Joan has said, if Antonio hadn't signed up with Jamaica, I think he would have got an England call up for the last qualifiers. Possibly. Matty, you're a third generation West Ham fan. Welcome. If you're new around here, subscribe. I'm glad to see you here. We will come in and chat with you as well and engage as much as we can. Billy, 8.83 subscribers currently. Yep, we're on the road, mate. We need to just keep pushing it. So keep sharing as much as you can. Anyway, that brings an end to our match day build-up. So tomorrow, are you going to Sports Club, Matt?
Should be, yes. Yeah, should be there.
Yep. So the link will be sent to you guys. Please join us, Matt and Stell. I think all you guys know what's happening. So join us for the Matchday Live show. I'll be doing it with the commentary. I may have a couple of cheeky guests coming on as well. So keep an eye on the channel for that. And yeah, that's been our Matchday build-up. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay safe. What else, Matt? Anything else you want to add?
Get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Get stuck in with the lads. Come on, you Irons. I've been Anton. He's been Matt. This is the West Ham Network. Come on, you Irons. See you tomorrow.